Greetings, all. Welcome to Aquarian Diary. I'm your host, John Irving. It is February 25th, 2023. I had a very interesting conversation today with someone who's a bit of a history buff. And we were talking about the astrology and all the things that have been going on, and how these patterns seem to be repeating in many ways, and how this might all play out. All really interesting stuff. So we were having this conversation, and then something struck me really clearly. And I saw something in a way I hadn't considered it before. And I want to share that with you because I think it might be very important. Now, I have talked about a lot of things like Pluto in Aquarius, big deal. I talked about the USA Pluto return, and I've talked about a lot of the other major transits that are going on. Many of them are quite rare. And so there's no question that we're at this really major and critical turning point in this shift from the Age of Pisces into the Age of Aquarius. And so what jumped into my mind during this discussion was that what we've been seeing really is all of these power structures and power centers, be it government, politics, institutions, business and corporations, banking, everything. All of those power centers have been profoundly challenged and in many ways made to look completely defunct and absurd. Like if somebody had written a script 15 years ago about all this stuff that we've been witnessing, it probably would have been rejected because it was just too ridiculous. And those of us who are intelligent and alert and conscientious have been witnessing what can only be described as utterly humiliating and embarrassing failures by a lot of political groups and organizations and institutions. In many ways, it has been really challenging to watch all this because you're just kind of like smashing your head on the desk all the time going like, why are they doing this? It makes no sense. They are disgracing all of these institutions, turning them almost into a laughingstock. Now, like I said, those of us who are reasonably informed find this horrifying because we know that it has real world consequences and it's going to hurt people needlessly because it's just all BS. And so the insight I had was that maybe this is all intentional, that we're supposed to be witnessing how idiotic and defunct a lot of these archaic paradigms and structures are, so that we will take more power and responsibility into our own hands. That is the Age of Aquarius. That is Aquarius. Aquarius is about being accountable for what happens in the world on a grand scale, where each person functions independently, but all collectively working towards the highest good of society. And part of the problem has been that we have given our power away and our responsibility away to these organizations and institutions, like political parties. And all we've been seeing for the past decade is how insanely corrupt, impotent, inept, and stupid they are. So, in other words, we've been reacting in horror to what we're seeing, but maybe what we've been seeing is exactly what's needed so that humanity will take responsibility for itself on a collective level and not just hand it off to a bunch of sociopaths or psychopaths who are recklessly incompetent, if not criminally negligent. Like the age of stupid is about showing us how stupid it is, because that's the only way we'll get off our asses and do something about it. And by the way, if you think I'm being too harsh by describing it as stupid, what could possibly be more stupid than destroying a planetary biosphere upon which everyone and everyone that follows is utterly dependent upon? And that is exactly what we have been doing. So yes, it's stupid. And anyone in any position of leadership that has ignored that has been being stupid and incompetent, and I don't care what party they're associated with. It's very Plutonian in the sense that Pluto is about death and rebirth. Before something can be reborn, it needs to be destroyed. And we're in the destruction phase of the old paradigm that is collapsing. I have literally published episodes about collapsing paradigms. The difference here, what I'm saying now with this little spark of insight, is that this collapse is entirely intentional on the part of the overall plan for humanity. That, in other words, it's a necessary purging. Again, I've talked about that specifically. It has to fall apart before it can be rebuilt, in other words. And in the Age of Aquarius, and we're going to get a strong sense of that very soon when Pluto moves into Aquarius on March 23rd, it will be about all of society being involved in our welfare and in our planning and taking control of our destiny. Like, why on earth did we ever leave our fate in the hands of a bunch of idiots in the first place is an entirely legitimate question. We should never have done that, and that is the point of all this. That we need to stop doing that. It's just something to think about because I haven't heard it actually expressed that way. I've expressed it myself, but not so succinctly. It's just something for you to consider. Let me know what you think in the comments. I always look forward to your input. Thanks for all your support and feedback. And by the way, I've been revamping how I'm going to do astrology readings a bit. So I am going to do them using Zoom. So I will update my page about readings because quite a few people have inquired. Link in the episode description. Liking, sharing, commenting really helps me out, so I appreciate that if you can do that. Thanks for everything. Take care. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you again soon.